are to be annoyed.
Hey gang, welcome to another Steven Universe recap vlog. Today's episode is Friendship. In the episode, Pearls figure out how to track Peridot using the escape pod. During the battle, Pearl gets overzealous about trying to capture Peridot and screws up the whole battle. They track her down one more time into an abandoned spaceship that gems used to travel to Earth before the warp paths were installed. Inside of it, again, Pearl running right in, they run into a trap. Peridot's set to get rid of the crystal gems because they keep interfering with her plans. They wind up falling into a trap except for Steven and Amethyst, who get to watch. Because Garnet and Pearl get trapped into a small room that's closing in, Pearl and Garnet finally talk about their feelings, and they're finally able to resolve, forming sardonyx to save themselves. Another battle for Peridot, only for Peridot to escape, and that's the episode. So Friendship's definitely the episode that people were really wanting. It was high action, which everyone loves, and it's finally putting a close on the Sardonyx week. This was definitely a arc. Unlike the second Steven Bomb, this one actually focused on a plot, and every episode touched upon it. Okay, so while I really enjoyed the episode, I feel like I got some criticisms here, so bear with me. I know whenever I say anything negative about these episodes, people get pretty high-strung, but just listen to me here. Pearl's arc in this episode is a little weird considering that I feel like she learned her lesson from the previous episode, Historical Friction.
Everybody gets stuff wrong, and then you have to keep going, and it's hard, which is why it's great when you never stop trying.
When did you get so smart?
I understand. I can't give up anymore. Good.
She kind of mutters the same line that Steven tells her, and maybe she's just really dense and just has to, really figure out herself, maybe. But it feels a little odd that she was told this last episode, and it seemed to be like she was figuring it out, and she doesn't figure it out until this episode. I don't know, it's just something about that seems really odd, and it makes Historical Friction even more of a filler episode than previously stated, which I know is the worst thing to say with you guys, because according to the creators, there's no such thing as filler episodes, just character development. The problem with that is when this episode, she still has to go over that character development, it means the previous one was kind of a waste. Though we do get some interesting things about Pearl in this episode. For example, she refers to herself as a Pearl, which is something that Jasper did, and it makes us think that maybe there's more than just one type of gem. Like, there might be multiple pearls around, or maybe there's just a bunch of pearls being reincarnated. But we do know that pearls are a maybe submissive gem that usually submits and serves other gems, considering that Pearl feels like she needs to follow someone and needs someone to feel complete.
I'm just a pearl. I'm useless on my own. I need someone to tell me what to do.
That might be just her personality, but she makes it sound like it's a character trait for all pearls. And that makes it really interesting. I'm kind of weirded out by the fact that there might be another character running around named Pearl that has a pearl. Obviously, it wouldn't be the exact same pearl. It might have a different design as well, but I really hope they touch upon this later on, because I find that really fascinating. Maybe it's the fact that her gem doesn't have facets, and maybe the ones that do have facets, like Steven, Amethyst, Garnet, Rose, etc., maybe they have a little bit more of an active role within their home planet. And look at Peridot. Peridot has a lot of parallels with Pearl, so I'm kind of curious if Peridot is like a newer version of what Pearls are on Homeworld. And is it the fact that they have smooth gems on top of their heads a thing? Obviously, they parallel a lot with each other depending on how you look at their powers. Though Peridot is a different story completely. I don't really understand why she's a robot while everyone else is organic. And at first, I thought this was going to be kind of like what Gem World's becoming, is more robotic. But look at Jasper. Though Jasper's definitely a older gem. She was around when Rose Quartz was, and even probably her equal. So maybe this is what gems look like now because they lost their humanity. Just kind of food for thought. Basically, I like Peridot in this episode. Some of her dialogue, I think the Claude thing's a little weird. It seems like 1980s cartoon writing there with the insults.
How does it feel to be so easily outsmarted, you Claude?
I don't appreciate being called a clod.
Overall, I love that she is always reacting, always seems a little clueless in things, and some of the end jokes are still carrying over, like how she calls the Steven for Steven. So is Peridot a transformer? Because she seems like she can do whatever she wants. The helicopter hands, the gun, the everything. Overall, I think she has some really interesting powers. Though, I'm still waiting to see what exactly her weapon is, unless her hand is it, but I feel like she probably has a summon weapon as well. So they gave a promo picture, and there's like a chessboard with Pearl and Peridot messing around. Now we just see it's Peridot taking advantage of Pearl's insecurities, but at first I got really scared, because I was like, oh no, is Pearl going evil? Is that what the arc's going to be? Because my friend Daniel, Gherkin Man, or Visitor from Dreams, was talking to me, and he thinks that, like, the arc that Pearl's going through, before Sardonyx, by the way, like, everything it's lining up, he says it's classic, she's eventually going to go evil, or there's going to be, like, a arc of redemption for her. I didn't think it was going to be that. What I was really scared about, well, once I saw that art, I was really, really scared that might be true. But the creators have also said that there might be an arc of redemption for Peridot, and some people theorize that she might join sides. But every time she appears on screen, she becomes more and more of a bad person. Between the cluster, which, keep in mind, Peridot didn't create the cluster, and might not even be familiar with what the cluster actually is. Probably not, that's wishful thinking, but I mean, she knows about it because they traveled to go see it, but she wasn't part of the creation, most likely, considering she was in Homeworld. But yeah, so I don't really see how, I mean, once you do this, I just don't think people can be friends with each other, especially in this show where character development, where one person lied to someone and spent a week trying to get over it. Alright, so I do have a little bit of an issue with the character Steven this time around. He feels very much early season 1, out of nowhere. He seems to regress and is a little bit more childlike than normal. I don't know if that's just like a defense mechanism for the fact that he's in such a serious situation, but with them fighting Peridot and seeing everything be so stressful and, like, serious, why is he joking around so much?
I caught a Peridot. Have a great weekend. I mean, I hope her weekend is not so great. The crystal gems are gonna get you.
I don't know, it just seems really odd, especially since we've seen him be so serious since Jailbreak, really. And now he's just kind of joking around. It doesn't feel right. I think this might be because the fact that the storyboard artists for this one are the first episodes they ever did, and so maybe they're still finding the characters. I'm a little weirded out by the fact that they trusted someone new to the show to do an episode that was going to be so important to so many people. But yeah, I think that's enough of my thoughts. I think Amethyst is probably a proxy for all of us, thinking, yeah, finally, it's over.
Finally.
As a Steven Bomb, this one was probably the strongest one since the first one. The second one seemed a little bit of a dud. Not that the episodes were bad, but they just seemed like they didn't fit and there wasn't really an arc behind it. And I think that might be more of Cartoon Network scheduling things around to create a second Steven Bomb after the first one did so well. And this one seems a little bit more planned. And I gotta thank the crew for this one. This week has been a really good week in terms of storytelling, and even with, like, Historical Friction being the weakest episode out of the set, I've had so much fun, and I think it was really cool to actually sit down and watch all the gems react to a certain situation, all in their own way. You had the first episode, which was the incident. You had an episode dedicated to Garnet and Ruby and Sapphire. You had an episode dedicated to Amethyst, and then you had 2 episodes dedicated to Pearl. I do want to do a retrospective of this Steven Bomb, maybe next week. I'm supposedly going to VidCon, so I'll be in California all week, so I won't be making any videos. Sorry about that. But when I do get a chance, I want to do a retrospect, kind of touching upon each episode and little things I didn't notice that I found out later on Tumblr or through your guys' comments. And I just want to make sure everything's covered. I'll see you guys soon, and see you next video.